So what's up? Michigan is, it's not just because the state is grappling with the spread of highly infectious COVID-19 variants that's second only to Florida. The surge in cases Michigan is experiencing is a combination of factors: variants, outbreaks among school/sporting teams, and a high case rate among 10 to 19-year-olds, and now increasing rates among all age groups through 59 and COVID fatigue. So that's why they changed it. That's why they changed the rules. So what's up? Like, why do you get mad at this? It's so weird to get mad at some shit like this. If younger kids are starting to get COVID and there's a scary trend, and they decide to take a measure against this, then why do you, as Steven Crowder, get upset at that? Like, it's the government doing what the government is supposed to do.
Terrible twos and putting on a double ply mask.
Oh man,
how are you gonna keep that on?
How is that? Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Like,
they're
kids
gonna
are
take that right
gonna
off.
take it off like everything else they try to do.
And
It
they're
just makes
useless.
common sense.
They're useless for toddlers because masks don't block boogers. They'll find toddlers when it comes to eating boogers. Life finds a way.
Basically, it's just a booger
and
pouch.
there it is.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Okay. I just love the frying pan. So the comments from Tucker Carlson, of course, sparked mass outrage. Ted Lieu, which, by the way, look,
Yeah.
I almost don't want to reference him.
I know he sucks.
Well, no, because there is an epidemic of anti-Asian hate
true.
crimes in this country.
It's true. Yeah.
And so it doesn't.
Black people?
It doesn't.
We didn't say it.
Hey, by the
That was
way,
them.
Asians, remember how you were the hot ticket like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
How does it feel to be used?
Yeah.
No one's
How does
talking
that
about them
feel?
anymore. Remember they tried to imply that we were anti-Asian at one
Oh,
point?
of course, yeah.
Yeah, we have a disproportionate amount of Asians. I feel guilty for outsourcing.
That's
I
true.
know.
I feel marginalized.
So Ted Lieu tweeted, Tucker Carlson wants to cancel parents who make the decision to have their child wear a mask. The right-wing cancel culture is out of control. I see. It's
Oh,
being
what?
facetious.
Shut
What
up.
the hell?
Cancel culture.
Who or what are they going to try and cancel next? Major League Baseball? Oh, wait, Tucker must go. The Democratic PAC Midas Touch tweeted, if Tucker Carlson thinks masks are so bad, why is he comfortable wearing his hood? I get the implication.
What?
That he's a Democrat.
Yeah.
And the Lincoln Project, professional banger, groomer, and
He's a Democrat. Get it? Democrats are the real Klansmen, the real racist boys.
cover-up of kids,
Yep.
tweeted, Tucker Carlson is a national security threat. Pass it on. You had sex with children.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's not the Lincoln Project. There was a guy there, but people
Right.
knew. Here's the thing. It's one thing, let's say you're pushing, I don't know, let's say an earmark in a bill for some kind of coal subsidy, and you happen to have sexual intercourse with children. It's another when your entire platform, the Lincoln Project, is built around the idea that, hey, that person is immoral. We're the Republicans who are not immoral. And you groom and sexually abuse children. I don't know why you're allowed to still be a thing.
I think you should go.
Shouldn't be.
Someone bring a frying pan to the old Lincoln Project.
I mean, fuck Lincoln Project and fuck that creepazoid who was trying to fuck kids or whatever. But I'm confused as to, I mean, I guess like you fuck Lincoln Project. I don't know how we arrived here at this consensus though. How do we get to this conclusion? I mean, Tucker Carlson's literally defended a famous white supremacist pedophile cult leader in the past. Matt Gaetz, under investigation conducted under the Trump intelligence communities. The Trump's FBI is conducting an investigation into Matt Gaetz for potentially trafficking a minor. So, you know, those guys are all Republicans, so, including the Lincoln guy, who is a Republican. So what's up?
Get that guy out of
Not
jail.
literally. That is not a call to violence.
No, of course not.
What? Yeah, no. The Hodge twins wearing a 1776 shirt is hilarious because, you know, back then the Hodge twins would not be considered human and instead slaves. So that's always a weird thing when you see black people being like, yeah, I love 1776, brother. It's like, oh, okay. I don't think you would have that energy back then, but hey, what do I know? It's like kind of weird that you're repping 1776. It's very weird, very strange. Like, yeah, brother, I love America. Yeah, us blacks are doing anti-Asian hate crimes. Oh, thanks, dude. Like, how the fuck can you not comprehend that you are being used in that situation? Like, or how are you so willingly jumping to be like, yes, us blacks are violent. God damn, dude. Anyway. Fucking Christ. This is so fucking lame. I can't believe these guys used to be like TYT fans at some point. And then they found the truth, brother. Watch Steven Crowder till you laugh challenge. I'll die. I'll literally fucking die, dude. I will die. So yeah, everyone is losing their minds over the CDC now saying you don't need to wear masks outdoors if you're vaccinated. But you know, the very same people who are saying don't get vaccinated are also saying, you know, you don't need to wear a mask. So that's great. Let's watch.
Political power.
Let's move over to the census data.
Shift from the results of.
I'm actually like getting a fucking headache from the CDC news. I think I might be overdosing on too much reactionary content here.
2020 census. Some states are set to gain congressional seats while others will lose seats. Our chief White House correspondent Cecilia Vega.
You're not a real socialist. Pretty cringe of a socialist to have a contract / gain massive amounts of money for Jeff Bezos, who's currently spying on his workers attempting to unionize. If you want to accept donations as a leftist socialist, I'm all for it. But there's no reason you need an exclusive ad revenue contract with Twitch when you rake in money from Bezos. Very good take. And a reminder that it's top of the hour. What that means is there's a 60-second ad break coming right now for you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there are ways that you can avoid the ad breaks by connecting your pre-existing Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account to get one free Prime subscription a month, which you can use on your favorite socialist, me. Now, there's also another way to support the show if you want to. You can buy a $5 a month subscription. You will be making that person very upset, so watch out. Definitely don't do that. How can this man claim to be a socialist and yet he works for a capitalist corporation? I don't know. Find out in a little bit. But if you are subscribed, if you're not subscribed, you won't be able to see the truth because I'm going to reveal it in the ad break. Here's the ad break now. New copy pasta, boys. New copy pasta just dropped. It's hot. It's fucking fresh. Oh, I do think that like I might have overdosed a little bit on fucking conservative psycho shit though. I'm like not feeling too great. Okay, you don't overdo the fucking thing in the chatters. You're doing it. You're overdoing it. Damn, you didn't have to hit him with a 30-second nuke. Jesus. Okay, let's get back to the CDC, boys. Or not the CDC, sorry, the fucking census.
She's in the White House. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hi, Robin. Good morning to you. This was one of the most complicated head counts ever given the pandemic and the Trump administration's push to not have undocumented immigrants counted. The reason these numbers are so important is that they'll end up determining how more than $1 trillion federal dollars gets allocated and how you saw those congressional maps get drawn. The big impact, red states are basically going to pick up several seats. Democrats, blue states could potentially lose some. And ultimately, this could impact the midterm elections. I want to show you another map. Take a look at it right here. Texas, you'll see it there, is going to pick up 2 seats in the House. Florida, North Carolina, Colorado, Oregon, Montana, they'll get 1 more seat. On the flip side there, though, for the first time in history, California loses a seat. New York, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, West Virginia, those important Rust Belt states are all going to drop a seat as well. Now, New York, listen to this. If just 89 more residents had responded to the census, they would not be losing that seat. Robin, there are big questions this morning about whether Latinos accurately participated in this census by the Trump administration. Some concerns they may have been scared off by the political ramifications there.
What a shift. All right, Cecilia, thank you. Well, hey,
They're running away, brother. They're running from California to just like Ben Shabibo did. They're running away from California and going to Texas, brother. California Governor Newsom is facing a recall.
California now, where it appears the effort to recall Governor Gavin Newsom will go forward. 1.6 million people have signed a petition to remove him from office, but a majority of the state's voters say they oppose the recall. Matt Gutman is in Los Angeles with the latest. Good morning, Matt.
George, good morning. A combination of factors led Newsom to this point. First, Republican backlash at Democrats' power in this state, but also voter frustration with what were believed to be some of Newsom's heavy-handed restrictions over COVID. Regardless, a Democratic darling now finds himself in a fight for his political survival. This morning, California's Governor Gavin Newsom facing that Republican-led
It's wild that New York lost the seat by 89 people, by the way.
effort to oust him from office. On Monday, the state announcing the recall effort easily topped the 1.5 million verified voter signatures necessary to trigger a special election, likely this fall. This time a year ago, at the start of the pandemic, Newsom jumped out as an early hero.
This next phase that has required me, under the circumstances, to advance a proclamation of a state of emergency in the state of California.
The first governor to declare a COVID emergency, but he has since earned the frustration of some voters over state-mandated restrictions.
We want to manipulate those numbers down. That's what this order is all about.
And then in November of last year, Newsom seen maskless at a dinner at one of the nation's most...
This is the reason why, at the French Laundry, this is the reason why a lot of people fucking hate him. Rightfully so. It was terrible, terrible, terrible thing that he did. After fucking forcing people to shut down and then telling people they can't see their fucking friends and family and then going and doing that. He originally did try to keep Disneyland open as well, which was bullshit. And... the recall is going to cost California over $400 million, by the way. He's up for re-election in 2 years. The funniest part is, like, so who are they going to vote for? Like, who are you going to vote for if we recall Governor Newsom? Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to vote for fucking... Are you going to vote for, what's her face? Caitlyn Jenner? Are you going to vote for Chamath, who is like fucking Gavin Newsom, but worse somehow? Like, I don't understand. Like, Chamath is like a fucking PC as shit, if that's what you hate about Newsom, but then has like even, I mean, I guess he doesn't want, like, he wants to like eliminate state taxes in its entirety. I just don't get it.
Exclusive restaurants, French Laundry. The recall gathering steam since, and new faces lining up against Newsom, including Caitlyn Jenner, who announced with this tweet, "I'm in." Newsom has sought to counter recall momentum by touting the state's recent COVID success, tweeting the state's positivity rate is the best in the country and that the light at the end of the tunnel is bright.
He's right. I mean, that shit is popping off, dude. California is vaxxed the fuck up. What's Jenner's politics? She is a homophobic, reactionary, Trump supporting trans person. Literally. Like, in the past, she said something along the lines of, like, gay marriage should not be allowed. Not that long ago, actually, she said this. Oh, she also murdered someone. That was, yeah, she did. Forgot about that for a second. Yeah, she did. She murdered someone. Classic mistake. Yeah, vehicular manslaughter. True.
If he is ousted, Newsom would be only the second governor in state history to be recalled after Arnold Schwarzenegger unseated.
She pulled a Kevin Costner kind of. Like, she did vehicular manslaughter and then turned around, and while that was going on, she was like, well, I'm coming out as trans. Like how or Kevin Spacey, sorry. Kevin Spacey, remember when it came out that he had like allegedly sexually assaulted minors? He was like, well, I'm coming out as gay, not Costner, Spacey. It's a very, very interesting move that celebrities pull from time to time. Yeah, I still got Waterworld on my mind, dude. Still thinking about.
Seated Gray Davis in 2003. Now, getting enough signatures for a recall and getting enough voters out to the polls to oust Newsom are two very different stories. He won by historic margins in 2018 and is considered likely, but not certain, to prevail this time.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our...
Did you cover Kamala? No, this is not right.
The New York Post.
So what happened here is, I know what the story is. I you know me, I love dunking on optic stories like this. But from what I understand, someone donated the Kamala Harris book. Someone donated a bunch of like Kamala Harris books to a charity that fucking ended up distributing it to kids. Right? It is like a fun little terrible optics sweaty story. And Fox News has been running it nonstop. And I do hate to defend Kamala Harris, but it was I think it was one book, and it wasn't even like directed by Kamala Harris at all. Gorbachev, you got caught up with some fake news, brother. Harris's book is not being handed out in welcome kits. A single copy of the book was donated by someone in Long Beach shelter after Reuters photog snapped a pic of book next to backpack. New York Post and Fox News falsely reported as being handed out to children. Yeah. The revised story notes that one copy of the book was donated by a community member and deletes the claim that copies were put in welcome kits, but still says the presence of a donated copy is just the latest open arms gesture by the Biden administration. Yeah. It's just like, it's just straight up fucking made up shit. But that'll go on for a while. Like, people will run with that forever, you know? Lies spread faster than the truth? Yeah. I work from home today, so just woke up from a nap. Still want her to... What? I can't say that. You can't say that. Anyway. Nick Fuentes is trending because he's been put on a no-fly list. People are suspecting that that's a lie. No-fly lists should be unconstitutional. They're inhumane. I don't care if it's a fucking Nazi or not. Even though Nick Fuentes is literally a fucking Nazi. Just remember that. It's important to remember. And And that's all I got. Dude, what is happening to me right now? I am getting fucking brutalized here. How is it inhumane? I don't think no-fly list should exist. No, it's not RP withdrawal. I think no fly lists are fucking crazy. As stated by the ACLU as well. It's a way to fucking restrict freedom of movement for a group of people that have been declared scary with not a lot of fucking information. Now, in the case of Nick Fuentes, even if he is literally a fucking Nazi, putting him on a no-fly list is ridiculous. I'd rather take away their guns than take away their It's okay to have different opinions sometimes, Chad. Don't worry. I mean, guys, no-fly lists were weaponized against Muslims for so fucking long, dude, and with not a lot of information. Like, I don't think that you should be able to do that. You're restricting someone's capabilities of travel. Like, if they do something illegal, then, you know, throw the fucking book at them. Comparing the average Muslim to Nick Fuentes feels wrong. I mean, even if it's not an average Muslim, just suspecting someone of doing domestic terror or doing domestic terror in general and not prosecuting them for doing the domestic terror and instead limiting their fucking freedom of travel and freedom of movement is ridiculous. Is he not a literal domestic terrorist though? I think so, which is why he should be charged and prosecuted for that. Do you understand? But from what I understand, he's not even on a no-fly list specifically for doing like domestic terrorism or anything like that, and instead is on I think it's like a private list for private businesses for not following COVID restrictions. It's not restricting travel, it's removing the privilege of using airlines. Oh yeah, I didn't realize that America's robust trains transit system was going to be decent enough substitute for planes. In America, a gigantic fucking country with no other alternative of interstate travel beyond like airplanes, no-fly lists are incredibly restrictive. It's just the truth. No COVID news on India? Dude, I've talked about what's going on in India 3 times in the past 3 days. I don't know what else you want me to cover about other than the fact that it is a fucking catastrophic situation. I don't know. Anyway. If you know he's going to refuse to wear his mask in flight with flight attendants once the plane is in the air, what else are you going to do? That's entirely separate. If he's violating COVID restrictions and putting other people in harm's way, then the airplane banning him from air travel is different than the government saying this person can no longer fly. I don't have a problem with the actual fucking flight attendants being like, yeah, no, you can't do that. Okay? Anyway. Tommy Lawrence celebrates California recall. You have the power to oust. Yeah, I'm done, I think. I'm done with serious news stories for the time being. I want to go into more fun reacts because I have a headache. I'm really tired. I don't know what's going on with me.
This scene here is very high tech. There are guys in the military, certain groups around the world that can absolutely do this. Hi, I'm Kane Vincent Dyer. I committed over 100 bank robberies in a period of almost 2 years. So after turning myself in, I decided to form a coaching company that helps people transform their lives.
Bro, you should have fucking formed the coaching company that helps people rob banks. You know? That'd be sick.
And today, we are going to be judging the authenticity of bank robbery scenes in some of our favorite movies. He has on this helmet, so he doesn't need a mask. He doesn't look like he'd be coming in to rob necessarily. It looks like he just kept his helmet on, which guys do all the time. I can really, really relate to this. Him wearing that backpack. I would sometimes either wear a backpack or a duffel bag strapped around the front, and you can still have the control of your hands. It's the only drawback. If you get any kind of tracker or die pack, you walk off and that die pack explodes, he's wearing it on his chest. This is so real. It typically happens your first time or two. Bank robbery is bad enough, so just to put that out there. And what we know from watching the movie is he's...
Fuck, dude. That's literally me with COVID. I walk out of my car and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot my fucking mask.
in a really desperate situation. Sometimes the desperation kind of overrides the moral compass. It's very accurate.
How's this dude not in jail after robbing 100 banks? Because he went to jail and then he turned his life around.
It takes a second for him to pump himself up. Yo, get up. He has tape. He doesn't want those gloves coming off, you know, so obviously he's really conscious of not leaving any type of fingerprints. Also, it's holding his sleeve to the jacket down, which could be covering up some type of tattoo. Interesting that he picked a bank with glass. Because of the glass, he's got to throw it over to them. And, you know, they could put any kind of device in that bag. It almost shows more so the desperation that he went into this bank that is secure with glass and everything like that, but he was still so desperate that it didn't stop him. Him having a problem with his motorcycle is something that's sure, it's happened.
Dude, it's once again, dude, bike strat OP. Cops should just start shooting out the tires.
They just blow through that red light with all those cars coming.
I can't believe he's doing the bike meta right now, dude. This guy would get caught in no pixel for sure.
I don't think a intelligent
send this to Ray so he has different plans.
You're putting a lot more people at risk. I
can't believe he's trying to fucking power game and do a solo bank job, dude. Fucked up.
I rate this a 9. Going into the bank, leading up to the bank, preparing, getting nervous, everything he did, even the mistakes he made inside, were actual mistakes that if you haven't done it, you would probably make. This vault that looks like no one could ever get in except for probably the U.S. military. We have to keep in mind that...
Why does motherfucker keep talking about the U.S. military, dude? What's he trying to say right now? He keeps saying, like, he brought it up before, too.
This movie, everything about this movie is supposed to be over the top. Yes, they do have very intricate lock safes and things like that, time lock safes, things that are really hard to get into. But a lot of time during business hours, they will keep certain safes open just so the employees can have access. I learned everything. So at every bank I went into, I knew whether it was going to have a safe such as the one that's in this scene, or if it was going to be a regular open door. And if it were like this, I would pass. Unless I found in one of their manuals or knew that they would keep this door open between certain times. Could I get into that back then, where things were more manual? Oh, yeah. I mean, it would have taken a considerable amount of time to break into that. That's not like a 3 or 4
Oh, he's a former Marine. Oh, okay.
minute deal.
Oh, dude, Larry Lawton covered this too, okay?
You wouldn't have a weapon in there like that unless you had a security guard that was armed. You got to keep in mind, if you shoot that shotgun and he hits that bank robbery suspect, those rounds are probably exiting the perpetrator and going straight into the bank customer or the bank employee.
What bus driver?
That school bus doesn't have any damage on it, and it just crashed through a cement and stone building. And if you remember, it had to go up the steps because when they robbed the building, they went up the steps. So that...
Dude, this is giving me... Yeah, the stair meta too, dude. The stairs are so hit or miss. You know, you can't always be relying on stairs because sometimes the stairs could be your worst nightmare.
Totally Hollywood, right? Definitely a 1. The camera's already got them in, on video. So why even use a mask at that point? Either they should have gotten out of the car, gone straight in with the mask on, or not used anything.
Stay down. We want to hurt no one.
The energy is so on point. How they talk, how they walk, how they move. Even the customers, just the fear that's there.
You know, I've never seen
Heat. Money. The money's still wrapped. This is how a lot of banks will keep the money when it comes in because they're still coming from, basically the factory.
Down. Far East National Bank 1130.
The silent alarm.
I can't be the only one who's always like confused Robert De Niro with Al Pacino, right? Fuck you, I'm unsubscribing. Wait, is that also, second question, is that freightophobic? I'm not saying that like all Italians look alike. I'm just saying that I always used to fucking confuse them, and I still do kind of.
It's actually going off as they're leaving, which is what employees are actually trained to do. It's less chance of the cops getting there and then having a hostage situation. The police are being alerted as the bank robbers are leaving, which is super accurate. I would actually give it about a 7. The energy is so accurate for the bank robbers, for that team. You can feel the desperation that it needs to get done. They know exactly what they're doing. You can tell by the way they move, where they go. They know the layout of this place.
Up against the wall. You, away from the computer.
Bank robberies that are done by a lot of different gangs. This is how they go in and this is how they operate, just with brute force and sheer fear.
When's the time lock set for?
9 o'clock?
No, it was 8:15.
He asked her something very specific about the bank, which he already knew. I would ask a bank employee a question just because I knew the answer and I wanted to see if they were going to be straight with me or not. I wanted to see if they were going to be nervous, how they were going to respond to the question I was asking. He just wanted to see if she was going to cooperate.
Hold it.
Fun fact, my uncle robbed the bank 11 years ago, inspired by this movie. You mean your uncle robbed the bank and the movie was inspired by him, right? Because isn't this movie not even 12 years old? This movie is like, how many years old is this movie? Holy shit, when did The Town come out originally? Jesus Christ, dude, it's been 11 years since the fucking movie came out. Or no, it's 2010. Okay, there it is.
Silent alarm. This address. You pulled the alarm? No.
Oh my God. There's no way your uncle watched the movie and immediately robbed the bank. Dude, I can't believe this movie came out 11 years ago. That's crazy.
Everyone in a
That's
bank,
crazy.
You know, all employees have silent alarms. That's not accurate. There's very specific people that have the silent alarms that are allowed to push it.
Switch it up. Come on, let's go.
Bleaching is something I haven't seen done before. I know why he's doing it, to get rid of all type of evidence. You know, once you put bleach on anything, everything just kind of dissipates. It's just interesting to me that they're doing that. Like the gloves, they have them so much that covers them up. I would say this movie is a 10 for the realistic way that these guys are just that aggressive. Unfortunately, you have a lot of guys that go in and that's how they do it.
He's gonna kill us all. Unless you can give me a giant wad of cash.
I have a plan.
I didn't start robbing banks just because I wanted money. I started robbing banks out of desperation in order to pay off a debt that a very dear relative to me had incurred to a criminal organization.
Bro.
When people do a solo robbery and they're trying not to be seen, this is exactly how they would approach it. They would hand the teller a note. They would probably smile at people in line. We can say he makes the mistake of showing his face, but most guys that go in solo like that, they often do that. And they hit these smaller banks and they just hope that the banks don't really link up and they won't get that much attention, but they will go in and show their actual faces. You know, someone's like, why is she moving that slow? She's probably still processing. What they are trying to do is try to give you money that has some kind of detector in it, some kind of tracer, or...
Bro, I don't understand how the fuck you rob a bank and you don't put a mask on. I just don't get that part, no matter what. You know what I mean? It's...
dye pack. And we see the stack. That stack looks a lot bigger. It looks like something he should take. It could be what they call the bait money. A stack that bank employees have put to the side, and with those are the bait money, dye packs, tracers. Here we see him being captured on video. So when I did all of my bank robberies, it was in the end of '99, going into 2000, and you didn't have cameras that were as high quality as they have now. So these old cameras used to be really grainy, so they would have a lot of them, but it's very common to have the cameras coming in. There are even things along doors that will allow a witness to gather even how tall you are. You'll see it in a lot of stores or banks. And when someone passes it, the employees are trained to look where he lines up on that. Absolutely a 10. Absolutely a 10.
There's no hold on this, right?
But you see the man with the briefcase?
Yes?
That's my partner. He has a gun in there. If you don't do exactly what I tell you, or if you give me any kind of a problem at all, I'm going to look over at my partner and he's going to shoot your Mr. Gwendon between the eyes.
I have done that. I have gone into
This guy's kind of cool, dude. Like, I like this guy a lot. I don't know why. I just, am I the only one who feels this way? I feel like he's kind of charming. God, robberies are so sick. Like, I hate that I don't know. I feel like, I'm confused. Is he in prison? No. He got out of prison and reformed. You just fall for the bad boys? Yeah, probably.
to a bank and immediately given instructions, I've looked back at the door from which I came in and told an imaginary accomplice there to make sure everyone keeps their head down, not lay down or hands in the air, but they keep their head down, like just their eyes focused on the ground, and there was never anyone there.
Take one of those big envelopes and put as many hundreds, 50s, and 20s as you can pack into it.
He's disarming her fear, literally, so it's not bringing any attention to them. That method is a very, very common method. I would say things like that, even if I yell.
I mean, first of all, it is literally the most American thing to think bank robbers are cool. Okay? America has had a long history with hyping up bank robbers and thinking that bank robberies are sick. So I'm not alone in that. There's no way I'm the only one who's like, oh, wow, like bank robberies are kind of tight. Obviously, don't do it. Fucking crazy. But there's just something about bank robberies. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's insured. So you're like literally just like taking money from banks. You know, it's not like the Wild West where you're literally taking the money of like, you know, grandma who left it there and she has no way of getting that back.
Louder than everyone else, I would tell the person that I was trying to get to do whatever I'm trying to get them to do. I would be much more calm with them versus screaming at them. The rating I'm going to give this picture is a 10. You know, you would think he wouldn't just go into a bank like that, but people will do things like that, especially if it's a small.
Okay, this video is perhaps the worst video for bank robberies, though. Okay, because he has, one, given you detailed information on how to rob banks successfully, and two, made it look even fucking cooler than what one could think it is like. Like Larry Lawton, whenever he's talking about like bank robberies, he's always like, "Oh, it's really bad. I went to prison. Don't do it. You'll get fucked." Blah blah blah. This guy's like, bank robberies are fucking sick. I'm a bank teller and he's way off, dude.
Smaller bank and they think that the news isn't going to travel.
Available units. We have a Bank 211 in progress at the Pico Rivera Savings.
That is super accurate where they're trying to back down other law enforcement. The FBI agent that was assigned to my case, Patrick Conley, he changed how they went after bank robbers. And a lot of times they would just wait for bank robbers to get caught in the, after the fact, and they get caught doing something else and someone tells on someone.
We've been surveilling these guys for weeks. That's what surveillance is. They commit a crime and then we stop them.
The police aren't working together. In my case, that happened a lot too, because other officers weren't giving Special Agent Patrick Conley the information he needed, or they just weren't used to chasing down actual bank robbers. Anytime he heard something come up, he was always there. Once that silent alarm was hit, he'd also go.
This guy's also like a perfect textbook example of like someone who is reformed, you know what I mean? And rehabilitated. Unless he's secretly educating people on how to rob banks. Like he's motivating. In his motivational speeches, he's motivating them to rob banks.
I have never been in that situation where I have been inside and the cops have shown up, but I have been in the situation where as I'm driving away, all the cops are coming into it. The moment I saw all the cops, I rolled all the windows down, turned my music on, and started singing. I'm going to give it a 7.
Wait, what? I'm confused. Wait, what does he mean?
I have never been in that situation where I have been inside and the cops have shown up, but I have been in the situation where as I'm driving away, all the cops are coming into it. The moment I saw all the cops, I rolled all the windows down, turned my music on, and started singing.
Dude, he's driving like a local, dude.
I'm going to give it a 7 because today, you know, I think law enforcement has learned a lot by not communicating with each other.
What the fuck?
This scene here is very high tech. This isn't a normal bank robbery, right? There are guys in the military and certain groups around the world that can absolutely do this. Now, a typical bank robbery, you're working within a certain construct of time, and trying to get in a vault like that, even if you have the skill set to get into it, it would probably take you as long to get in that vault as the sentence you would get for getting into it. I have gone into banks that have safe locks and vaults and time lock vaults and stuff like that. But there is a bank in Spain that operates in this way where if certain parts of it are triggered, it will flood the actual safe, which holds all the gold. I'll give it a 10 for entertainment. I'm gonna give it a 1 on the skill set that anyone would have to go do that. I've been waiting to go into a bank and I've seen a pregnant lady or an elderly person go in, and it's made me either pause or wait because I didn't want to.
See, he's so nice, dude. I want him to rob my bank, dude.
You know, like I said, a lot of people when they do this, they're not thinking that they're hurting the individual. They're just taking the money. You're putting a lot of psychological damage and trauma on someone. Sometimes you don't realize that in the moment.
Just the one, Sonny! Right.
This happened in 1972 in Brooklyn. Just a horrible situation when you have this hostage situation. Right now, he's in serious denial. I haven't been in this situation, but I remember even before I turned myself in, making the decision that I wanted to turn myself in, there was just so much back and forth with myself.
They got me on kidnapping, armed robbery. They're gonna bury me, man.
Basically, he's buying time. You're working off survival instinct here now because he knows.
Are the same hair. Was that Al Pacino or Robert De Niro? Come on. See, you can't tell because you just assume they're the same.
You can't go anywhere, but now it's just about survival. I'm going to give it a 10. And were there mistakes made in the bank? Absolutely. Were there things that a normal bank robber wouldn't do in the bank? Yes. But in this situation, all those mistakes played into him getting caught. A lot of bank robbers, especially their first time or something like that, out of desperation, they will just take whatever they can put in. And I've heard about bank robbers going inside and forgetting to take anything to collect the money, you know, trying to put everything in a t-shirt, you know. He wasn't prepared.
I think I'm gonna rewatch Baby Driver. Every time I see clips of it, I'm like, fuck, man, that was such a good movie. It's like such a fun, good movie.
For that, which it gave him pause, but then he had to jump back into that zone of getting them out of there. So I like that they kind of did that, where they give him this human quality, like, whoa, you know, I didn't expect that, because he's just the driver. That's a situation that could definitely happen. The guy who's engaging them has a Marine Corps hat on and a Marine Corps decal on his car. And that was something that was always on my mind when going into a bank, you know, just wondering if there's...
Once a Marine, always a Marine, brother. Hoorah. Semper Fi, brother. You know, I see other Marines, I think to myself, fuck. You guys are... That's a trained killing machine right there. He can stop me.
Going to be another guy in there like me. He was a Marine like myself. It happened to me where I had a guy who was probably former military or something engage me, come at me, tell me to stop. And I followed the command. I know it sounds weird, but I followed the command because it just wasn't worth physically harming someone for me. Just that scene there, that interaction, I would give it another 7.
Okay,
saw a lot of violence
okay,
happening,
connoisseur, come
and
on.
it's easy from the outside to say, okay, that wouldn't happen. But heck, that happened.
I didn't know I was in a library.
I've been into banks where during the day where you see working crews there, but I would think that this would be something where you'd have working crews like that at night. But if you had to have them during the day, I could see how that guy could be in there.
Everybody get down on the floor!
Wait, what movie is this? Chat? Inside Man? Another bank heist movie that I haven't seen. Damn, dude. I haven't seen a bunch of fucking bank heist movies that seemingly are great. I never saw Dog Day Afternoon either. There's a lot of fucking movies that I could be watching. This is good. This is good stuff. These are all fucking movies that I want to watch. So, Uncultured Swine. Okay, fucking chill.
I never used a team like that. Sometimes people will get a little violent, unfortunately. And a lot of guys probably think that's the way to instill fear, to get people to do what you tell them. But kind of against that.
Once again, we're looking at Hollywood. A bank would be much more secure than that. But a lot of old banks did just have the glass doors. Later on, in probably like the early 2000s, what happened is you started to see banks incorporate this double door mechanism. What that was actually for is to trap bank robbers inside those first doors that they went out of.
I don't know, if a bunch of serious trained guys were doing something.
Okay, I want to know more. I want to watch more of this guy. Like, this is really good. This was such a good react that, like, it made me want more of this guy's react.
This is probably the way they would do it. So I will rate it another 7.
Day in the life of a Michelin. No, dude, we've already fucking watched that. It sucks. That video was not great. It was very slow. Is a show on Vice? Penetration tester Jason E. Street helps banks by hacking them. This motherfucker's name is Jason E. Street.
Yeah. Barcodes, invoices, and this is medical. I mean, I'm not even going in, and I can grab this data.
I'm Jason E. Street. I'm a hacker, and I rob banks for a living.
Oh my god, look at this fucking ring game, dude. That's too much.
I do pen testing. It's like finding vulnerabilities to better protect the client. I'm wearing a DEF CON leather jacket and red Thundercat tennis shoes, and within 2 minutes and 22 seconds, I'm behind your teller line, and I go, I walked in, you've got a problem, you may want to address that.
kind of a cool fucking. He's just a white hat. Yeah, it's like me getting through paywalls. Thank you. Exactly. When I hack through paywalls and read free articles, boys.
If you ever look at a bank robbery, when a guy comes up with a ski mask and a shotgun, he doesn't usually end up having a great day. But when I walk in with a jacket and jeans, I'm here with Microsoft, I'm here to make the network faster. I am telling you, their answer is going to be, yeah, it is running a little slow. What door do you need open? Computers are really good tools to commit crimes with nowadays. When you're doing a pen test, you are trying to recreate the scenario of an actual attacker. I sit down with the client and tell them, this is what I would like to do. I could steal all your corporate secrets this way. Then I do a 3-day engagement. I spend the first day or two being the worst thing to happen to you at the worst possible time in the worst possible way. Usually, I can walk in to a place and just go, hi, and I'm in. And I plug in my USB drive. Like a Hack 5 rubber ducky, it operates a code that can compromise the machine. That's on easy mode. But on that third day, I come back with a representative of the company so the employees know that I'm legit and then educate them on what I did and how I did it. I'm trying to make sure everybody's
Dude, that's how you know he's a real one. Watch. Boys. That's peak, dude. That's peak hacker man's, dude. He's got a PSP. He's literally using a PSP to do pen tests. Brother, that's some shit right there, brother.
What I did and how I did it. I'm trying to make sure everybody is comfortable with what happened. Make sure they turn that into a positive lesson instead of a negative one. That's why penetration testing is so important. Now, if someone else goes in and they don't have authorization, they're not going to be able to get in.
And we're recording. Okay, see you in a little bit. Right.
Penetration testing is basically a social engineering engagement. Most employees have that voice in the back of their head going, this ain't quite right.
Could you let me in real quick?
And they're looking at me, and I can tell by their face, they know I don't effing belong there. And then they go, okay.
This is social hacking, nothing more? Yeah, well, most hackers or most people that are engaging in penetration testing are going to look for exploits. And the biggest exploit, the biggest security flaw in every security system, as hackers and everyone else will tell you, is human beings. They are malleable, they are easy to fucking manipulate, and that's literally what most people do. Like SIM swappers and shit. Most of the time, what SIM swappers are doing is exploiting human beings on the other side of the line over the phone to turn around and make themselves or portray themselves as the actual person who owns the account. There's not complex tools or anything else that they're using.
They don't want to be rude. They don't want to cause waves. I was in Amman, Jordan, robbing a bank there, and I don't know too much Arabic. Whatever. I start walking in like I own the place, go straight down the farthest cubicle I can have access to, and I plug in my USB drive. And then I go to the next one. And the bank manager comes up to me and she's like, you can't be doing that. And I'm like, you're right. If you don't think I should be doing this, it's we should definitely contact somebody. I compromised 5 machines. She realized something was wrong, but she wasn't trained to counteract that because I didn't have a ski mask on. I did not fit the pattern. And so I was like, you know what? I've got some paperwork in my car. She said, yes, you need to go get the paperwork. And they let me leave. But I'm trying to get caught. I'm trying to create a teachable moment. So one of my best engagements that I've ever been on was this year. I had pen tested the company the year before. And this year, they caught me several times. That shows me that my job that I did last year worked.
I'm a defensive pen tester. I do freelance bug bounties. I have done some red
always
team
tell
testing.
people-
90% of the time, people just let you in. Yeah, human beings are the most vulnerable part of every security system.
Every person